Good morning, gamers. It is Saturday. It is a weekend. I am feeling good. I hope you are too. All right. So today we're going to explore another play style, another type of player. And I know I owe you some more examples of simulation and emulation, but I mean, I make one of these almost every day. So sooner or later, we're going to get to everything. No, we're not. Because when it comes to gaming, there's always going to be more. But I haven't added a new type of player or play style to this series lately, so let's go ahead here. So a few videos ago, I talked about the deep role players and mentioned that there was more than one kind. And the type of deep role player that we talked about before was the cross table kind. Like, they are not concerned with NPCs. They are not concerned with your universe as a GM. They want to recreate the feels of Vox Machina, or that long-running comedy Friends that ran through like the 1990s and the 2000s before we got to the 20-teens, you know. Da 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 da. So they just but today I want to talk about the other kind of deep role player. The kind of deep role player that is a lot of fun for you as a GM if you enjoy your world, and you should if you're a GM. Like, if you're a GM and you don't enjoy your world, then you probably feel like you're stuck being the forever GM or something like that. Well, the thing is, now, so today's picture is some people out to explore, you know, just getting out to explore a city. So when you come to a city in your game world, whether it is a technological space station city in Star Wars, or whether it's a regular city in the more typical common D&D type world, these a lot of times, many players who are like, well, what kind of services can I get here? And they treat it kind of like a stop off in a video game. You know, I need to sell some crap, I need to buy some crap, I need to fix some crap, blah blah blah. Are there any story clues here? Blah blah blah. Well, the thing is, now this is going to be the complete opposite of the combat junkies. The combat junkies, this will turn them off really fast. But exploring your world, because NPCs don't know they're NPCs. NPCs are fully fleshed out people. And a lot of people who play D&D, they just, I'm not going to get worked up about an NPC. I'm not going to get attached to an NPC or think about an NPC too much. You know, I'm the player. The game is about me, 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 me. I'm the player. Well, the thing is, Batman's an NPC, and yet there are people who will fight over their Batman fanhood and like, no, this was terrible writing. This was the worst writer to ever have a hold of Batman. Everything wrong with Batman happened when this writer was in charge. Oh, no, this is the greatest writer Batman ever had, and this writer really got Batman, and this writer could really write him well. Well, what do you mean, get Batman? Batman's not a real person. But and the same thing with, you know, Iron Man or Spider-Man or the Hulk or Goku, or there was that sparkly vampire thing a few years ago, Twilight, or people argued about what Disney did to Luke Skywalker. Well, Luke Skywalker's not a real person. So, but yet Luke Skywalker provoked this very visceral reaction in millions and millions of people. So although Luke Skywalker's an NPC, he's not real. You know, Mark Hamill's real, but Luke Skywalker, he's not real. And so yes, absolutely, you can definitely get attached to NPCs, especially if NPCs are done right. Now, what I did when I was a kid, what my mentor, Ron Watson, taught me to do with getting NPCs to be real to the players is, in most cases, unless your player character species is some weird life form or something, in most cases, if your player is, a human or an elf, a dwarf, a dragon, a tiefling, or whatever, most player characters have moms. Okay, unless you're some weird life form or something. Anything can happen in D&D, I guess. But unless you're a weird life form, most player characters have moms. They have families. They have, uncles or whatever. And so in real life, we have families. Your character's probably going to have a family. And to families, we feel certain attachments. We feel certain obligations. So a role player is going to kind of work out how they feel towards their family, just like we humans in real life work out how we feel towards our family and stuff. There are, all NPCs don't know they're NPCs. And so you can, what I started doing when I was taking baby steps as a teenager being a DM is I'd have little plot hooks where players would like actually help out their family. And those are some good plot hooks. And then as you expand and you get more life experience, I did a video a couple months ago about fleshing out NPCs. And I'll just give you a couple examples here of how you can take just NPCs that, most players might just treat like bots in a video game. Oh, this is the shopkeeper bot. I need to sell this. I need to fix this. I need to buy this. So recently, there was a gentleman who came into a store. The party was exploring a new town. There were some plot hooks in the town, and I wanted to expose the players to those plot hooks so that they would have an opportunity to go on those quests. They'd have an opportunity to go on those adventures. And there was this mysterious thing happening at the edge of town. It wasn't necessarily dangerous yet, but the adults were kind of worried about it and shying away from it because it was just this weird thing at the edge of town. But you know what kids do? Kids will explore things. Kids are curious. So the party comes into this magic shop because they just want to buy some magic stuff. So they started out at that level of just wanting to, buy crap, sell crap, fix crap, blah, blah, blah. And the shopkeeper, I think I named her Marge. The shopkeeper, that's another thing. You're going to have names, a bunch of names ready for NPCs if you're going to humanize them and make them people, or dwarfitize them, or elfitize them, or hobbitize them, or whatever, dragonbornitize them. But Marge's nephews came in, and Marge's nephews were excited about, Auntie Marge, we saw it again, You saw what again? I told you boys to stay away from that. And of course that creates some curiosity among the party, and it did. But then I decided that Marge, in order to give her a real story real quick, based on stuff that happens in real life, but projecting it into D&D, I decided that Marge had, was almost functioning like a single mom. Like the parents of her nephews had died, and she'd never gotten married, and so she was raising her nephews by herself. And so she started asking this handsome, young player character, strapping young male who had just saved the town in the previous quest, and was now coming into the store to buy stuff, and he was already known as the town hero because he'd saved it. She started asking him, so are you going to stay in town a while? And started hinting around that that she was, you're very good with my boys, and stuff like that. And it was funny. It was funny. Obviously, this player did not strike up a relationship with Marge, and they went out of town, and they've moved on since and done their adventuring career. The party has. And poor Marge, I don't know what happened to her because I haven't had to DM her for a while. But if you take a real story of something that can happen in real life and apply it to D&D, you can flesh out these NPCs, and they still talk about Marge. I mean, it's been weeks since that happened, and that party will still tease that player character about Marge. So this is how you can flesh out NPCs and make them real. Another story that happened a little longer ago, because the story with Marge happened just a couple weeks ago. A little longer ago, when I was in college, there were a whole bunch of girls that were trying out D&D in my group. And I noticed that as a young kid in my 20s, that whereas for guys, gems and jewels are like a compact way to carry cash, instead of carrying 5,000 gold pieces that could, weigh 500 pounds, you could have one single diamond that was worth 5,000 gold pieces. And ooh, it's just one rock in my pouch compared to, 500 pounds of metal. And so to guys, gems and jewelry were like a compact way to carry cash. Whereas I noticed that the girls wanted me to explain exactly what that ring was like, exactly what that gem was like, exactly what that necklace was like. And I noticed that they would wear them in the story, and when they had character sketches done of their characters, character portraits, they would include those things. Oh yes, I have this beautiful silver necklace with emerald set in it, or something, or whatever. And it was they would explain to the artist doing their character sketch about this jewelry. It was important to them. It wasn't, and the guys would be like, "Why don't you sell it?" "Oh no, I'd never sell it." And so, but I noticed that when we came to cities, the guys would kind of do the functional things that, but the ladies, they would take their wealth from being adventurers and they would go buy Cinderella fairy tale ballroom gown dresses. And then they would go find cotillions and balls to go to. And they would be little heartbreakers. Oh my goodness, they would find of course, they had high charisma scores. They made their characters to be attractive and hot. So they go into these cotillions and they find all the young noblemen, all the young noblemen of the area who'd never seen these ladies before. And of course, these ladies were not soft little noble women. These ladies were adventurers. So they were tough and confident, and they would look a man in the eye and talk right back to him with confidence and knowledge and about the world, and they'd had experiences. And so these exotic adventuring women, they were very, very attractive to these soft pampered noble boys who were just old enough to start wanting to find women and stuff. So they would dance with these boys at the cotillions, and I say boys, they were probably 20 somethings. And see, I'm getting into the NPCs now, but and they'd break their hearts. Oh my goodness, they were just little heartbreakers. Then when it was time to leave the city, they would they would carefully, they explained to me as the DM that they're preserving these dresses. We are carefully putting these dresses away so that they're not going to get destroyed in storage. And then they would put on their travel clothes and their armor. They'd grab their spell books and their weapons, and then they'd ride that horse like a man out of town, and they'd go adventuring again. So they were, and then one of them explained it to me, like, so D&D is about fantasy. And she said, it's every girl's fantasy to have your cake and eat it too. To be soft when you want to be soft, and be hard when you want to be hard. And that's what they did in D&D. But these boys that they broke their hearts, they really, and I had to role play these guys, and so it was flirtatious, it was fun, and then and of course I at the time was a 20-something in college, and I'd had my heart broken several times. I'd gotten my hopes up and got my heart dashed several times. So as the DM, I was able to role play that, but again, it was interacting with NPCs. So there are going to be players who really want to interact with your world. There are going to be players who they want to know who the power brokers are, because they're going to want to get themselves close to the politicians in your world so that they can get noticed and maybe get rank themselves. So the people that get into your world, the people who want to know your NPCs, that's another kind of deep role player. But I see that I've gone over 13 minutes here, so this one's kind of long. But I will see you around the gaming table. Look for our information down below. Patreon GM Academy, personal tutoring and teaching for your GMing. Hang with us on Discord, play some games with us. In the meantime, I'll see you around that gaming table.